So if you just join us, it's our first time home buyer class. Get the facts about buying a home in today's market. So there's a lot of uncertainty in today's market in terms of the interest rates and the demand for the homes. And so I'm going to go through and kind of discuss, kind of go over what to look for and how you guys can get started in this market. All right. So a little bit of housekeeping. The first 30 minutes, we're going to do the presentation. We're going to go through the slide. I'm not going to answer any questions. And then after the 30-minute presentation, we're going to do a Q&A. We're going to answer all your questions. So if you have specific questions, put it in the chat box, and then my team and I, we're going to go through every one of them. We're going to answer every question as much as we can for the hours that we have. Okay. We're also going to put a link down below in the chat box so that you can schedule a one-on-one with me. If you have a specific question, concern that is for you, that means like, Alex, I have certain things that I want to talk to you about. You can schedule a 30 minutes one-on-one. It's free. I love to help you out and answer any questions that you have. Okay. And we are also, if you stay for the entirety of the webinar, we want to incentivize you to stay. We're going to give you $500 certificate that we're going to give away so that you can use towards buying your home. So we're going to give you a credit of $500 you can use towards and buying your home. So if you guys will stay at the end, that's a bonus for you guys to attend the webinar tonight. So as a first-time home buyer, these are some of the feelings that a lot of people, you're concerned, you're stressed out, you get intimidated, you're anxious, and you're uncertain. So comment down below if you have, you have these type of feelings when you are looking to buy a home, or you're like, Alex, I don't know where to start. I don't know, what I'm doing. Just comment down below, and it's normal. Back in 1999, when I bought my first home, I was in the industry for about 6 months, and I still had anxiety, because I knew the loan side, but I didn't know, the buying side, the real estate side. So I know how it is. It's very intimidating because you don't have the resource, the know-how, but that feeling is okay, is because you're just going through, you're looking at purchasing your, looking at buying your biggest investment. So it's normal. Back in 1999, when I bought my first home, the interest rate was at 7%. So in today's market, it's between 6 and 7%, just depends on the day. So the interest rates are normal. And we're going to go through and explain why right now is the best time for first-time home buyer to get into the market to buy a home. Okay. So we just want to say we're proud of you for taking the time tonight to be with us. I am honored, and I'm so grateful for you guys to show up tonight. So I don't take it lightly. So I'm going to try to give you as much information as possible. My team and I believe it is our mission to inspire home ownership and help you find a home and a community that you love. A little bit about myself. I've been in the industry for 2 decades. Grew up in the Metroplex, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I went to school at UTA. Been married for 20 years, have 3 boys. They keep me busy. In my spare time, I love coaching, soccer, and travel and be outdoors. I am a loan officer for CrossCountry Mortgage. Been doing it for a long time. Again, my team and I will schedule a one-on-one if you have certain questions that belongs to you. They're going to drop it in the chat box. Click on that link and then schedule a time with me. Let's see here. This webinar is for you if you hate paying rent. Comment down below if you are paying rent right now and you're hating it. You want to get out the rent raise and you are tired of renting, and you've been wanting to do that for the last year, 2, 5, 10, and you just don't know why you keep delaying it. This webinar is for you if you're looking for clarity regarding the current housing market. And I'm gonna go through that with you guys. You're paying over $2,000 worth of rent and you realize, man, I'm just killing myself. And every month or every time the lease is up, you know, the 2,000 keep increasing, your rent, it doesn't stay. You're thinking of buying a home pretty soon, but you just don't know how to get started. We're gonna walk you through the process. You're tired of having a landlord telling you what to do. And you're like, okay, you know what? I want to be my own landlord. You have a family, so the place that you're renting, you know, you grew out of it, or there's not enough space. You want, you know, a yard. You have dogs. You want a yard to play in. So this webinar is for you. You're looking to gain some valuable financial knowledge, and we're going to go through that. There's a lot of programs that's available for first-time home buyer. We have a lot of programs that you can buy a home with little or zero down. So we can go through that. You want to stop wasting money on rent and gain equity. In the past 3 years, you see the housing market skyrocket. Some of those who got in before before COVID, and you see them gaining 10, 20, 30%, and you want to get into the game. I get it. I'm going to go through the process and explain to you why it's a good time for you to get into the market right now. You want to understand the buying process. How do you get started? How do you come up with a plan so that you can be ready? Maybe it's 3 months from now, 6 months, 12 months, but at least you have a customized plan to help you through the process and then get you ready when your lease is up. Okay. There's again that link. Set up a call with me or my team. Schedule. They want to drop a link and then just schedule a time. I want to stress is that this webinar, there's tons of people on it. So the faster you get involved in it, schedule it. We only got about 20 slots. So the faster you schedule, the faster you lock in the time that you want. Okay. So also, I want to ask you, what's your reason why? Why do you want to buy a home? In the chat box, type down, Alex, I want to buy a house for my family. I want to buy a house. And that is a strong incentive for you to continue on the process. So type down below and say, Alex, I really want to buy a house. It's because, you know, we want more space. Okay. Can I even buy a home? So some of these are thoughts that a lot of people have been telling me in the past. So I'm going to go over with you. Is my credit score 580 or more? Do I need a credit score 580 or more? Have I filed bankruptcy or had I foreclosure in the past 2 to 4 years? Do I have established trade lines on my credit report? Have I been 30 days late on payments in the past 12 months? Are my taxes up to date? Am I in repayment on my student loans? Have I worked the last 2 years or have work experience equivalent to 2 years? Am I currently able to save money from month to month so that I can have it for my down payment and closing costs? So these are some of the questions and thoughts that people in the past have asked me. So, and if you are thinking about it, yes, you can still able to buy a home. So the next 5 slides, we're going to go through the basic steps of buying your first home. Okay, for those of you who are thinking want to get started and don't know how to get started, I'm going to walk you through the basics. Okay, so the basic step of buying your home, the first thing you want to do is get together with a lender to get pre-approved with a lender, a loan officer. What that means is that loan officer is going to work with you to find out what you're qualified for based on the purchase price. And also that particular lender will work with you on determining your monthly payment, your budget. For example, if you were wanting to buy a $300,000 home and your budget is $2,000 or $2,500, then maybe, you know, your sales price is $250,000. Okay, so that lender will work with you to make sure that the monthly budget that you set fits into what you want so that you're not buying too much home. Also, that particular lender will help you through explaining you and the breakdown of your down payment, your closing costs, and how, if you do qualify for down payment assistance program. Okay, so once you do that, going through the process of getting pre-qualifying, working with that lender, smoothing out whatever challenge that you have, knowing what you qualify for. The next step is, once you know how much you can qualify, you start the journey for looking at a home with one of our realtor partners, okay? And the reason why is choosing a realtor is very important. They're going to help you put together a list of homes based on your needs and wants. What that means is, like, let's just say, Alex, I want to buy a house in Mansfield or in Arlington, and I want to buy a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage in that area. So that particular realtor will look in the area that you want to live based on your criteria, and they will provide you a list of homes so that you can start looking through and seeing something that you actually like. Okay, so once you go through the process of finding the home that you like, the next step is you're going to go look at that type of home. They're going to schedule an appointment so that you can view the homes. Okay, so once you're able to view the homes, pick out the house that you want to purchase, what's going to happen is you and your realtor will put in an offer to buy that home, which is a bid, an offer to buy the home that you, or negotiate a contract with the seller. Okay, so once you're able to secure a contract and put down your deposit in what they call it, earnest money, the realtor will write up the contract, negotiate the selling price with the seller. What's going to happen is you now have a contract. You and the seller have a contract. You guys will both agree on the price. Once you have that, and your next step, step number 3, is you take that contract, or your realtor, you have a purchase contract, you give that back to your loan officer that you're working with. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to work for the next 30 days for you to secure financing, the money to purchase that home. Once you have a purchase contract, the other things that you put down is your deposit, which is your earnest money, to hold that house for 30 days while you go through the process of finalizing your loan, so that the seller won't sell that house if they have a better offer. Okay, so you're going to work with your loan officer, lock in your interest rates, and then also determine your monthly payments. At the same time, you're also going to order an inspection on the home that you just put a contract, to make sure that there's not major repairs. For instance, I just have one that we put in a contract, and we find out that they have to replace the roof. Okay, so if you have to replace the roof, we have to let the seller knows to do that, because if the roof is not insurable, then you're not going to able to get insurance to protect that house. If there's not an insurance to protect the house, you can't get a loan. So in that particular instant, the seller has to replace the roof before we can even move forward with the transaction. Okay, and then once you're able to secure the inspection, determine there's nothing wrong, the lender will order an appraisal. So an appraisal, what it does is that it will determine the sales price. Let's just say you're buying a $300,000 home. They want to make sure that the value of the home is worth the sales price that you're buying. Okay, so they want to make sure that they're lending true value, not because the house is listed at 300, but it's only worth 250,000 based on that community. So they want to make sure that the house and the value match each other. And that is to protect you from having to overpay for your home. Okay, once you have the executed contract, you're also going to be working with a title company. A title company is a middle person, a middleman. Okay, what they do is they take the contract and they take your deposit, which we call it the earnest money, and they'll hold it. Okay, and they are the middleman between the seller and the buyer, so that the buyer won't sell the house, under you, and at the same time they're going to help you order a title insurance. What that title insurance does is that it determine if the seller has any liens against the house. Let's just say that the seller built the pool and he hasn't paid off the pool, and so there's a lien against it. So when they switch ownership, they want to make sure that they pay off that lien so that you are not responsible for that debt. So as a buyer, you want to make sure that the seller clear all his debt, okay, clearing out all the liens. So when they transfer to you, you don't have any responsibility with that old debt. So that's what the title company do for you. And they also going to order a survey. What a survey does is that it's a footprint of your house sitting on your land. And when you look at it, you're going to know where your house is sitting and where's your land, or where do you own your land. So it's a footprint. You look at it, you can see it. And then once we have all that worked out, you, the buyer, and the realtor will do a final walkthrough. You want to make sure that 3 days prior to closing, we want to make sure that all the repairs are done from the seller that you find out, that you negotiate with, your realtor negotiate for you. You want to make sure all that is done so that once you close on the home that you own, there's not any more problem, challenges, or whatever that you agreed upon. So you do a final walkthrough to make sure the house is in the the best condition that it can have. So step number 5, this is the last step. The last step, 3 days prior to your closing, your lender loan officer will send you, they're calling it a closing disclosure. What that means is just the disclosure of all the fees involving getting the loans, of all the final numbers of how much money you have to bring, what are your tax, insurance, your closing costs. They're going to disclose that for you. They're going to go over that numbers with you to make sure that you understand. Prior to the 3 days, they're going to have preliminary number that's pretty close to the final numbers. But once you are 3 days prior to closing, the law states that you got to have a closing disclosure, the final numbers. Once you have that final numbers, then they're going to go over that with you to make sure that you understand before you are at the closing table. Okay. Also, on that 3 days prior to, the title company going to address, is there any repairs needs to be done? Did we did everything? Basically, you as the buyer and your realtor would tell them, yes, everything is signed with the seller, everything is done. And then at the closing day, at the closing table, you're going to go there and you are going to sign your closing documents. That means you agree to borrow the $300,000 to purchase the home, and you agree to pay, and you sign that documents. Once you sign that documents, the lender will wire the $300,000 to the title company, and the title company will pay the seller. Once the seller get their money, they're going to release the key and they're going to give you the keys. Okay, they're going to release it. So now you are a proud owner of that home. You are the new owner, the proud owner. You receive the keys. You can move in that particular day. Okay, so that is the 5 steps of getting from A to purchasing a home. Pretty basic, that we walk through to purchase a home. The basic step of buying your first home, congratulations. Your journey has just begun. For those of you who think about how to get started, that's just a quick overview of running it through so that you can understand the process of it. So questions so far, type them in the chat box. If you have questions, concerns, please put them in the chat box so that my team and I can address it. At the same time, if you have any particular situation that you want to talk to me about, click on that link below and schedule your time with me, and then we'll spend roughly 15 to 20 minutes to talk about how we can help you to become home ownership. So I'm going to address some of the questions that a lot of people ask me, and then we're going to dive into each individual questions, okay? So one of the questions that a lot of people have asked me in the past is who pays for the commission? Who pays for the buyer's realtor? Well, when the seller decided to list their home, okay, when the seller decided to list their home, they agreed to pay 6%, okay? So 6% to the person who helped list their home, the realtor who helped list their home. And when a buyer and a buyer realtor decided to purchase their home, they're going to split that commission with the buyer's agent, okay? So that 6% is 3% is going to go towards the listing agent, and 3% is going to go to the buyer's agent. And so it's so important that when you buy your first home, you want to have somebody to work on your behalf, to negotiate the price for it, negotiate the repairs, negotiate everything that could go wrong with the transaction for you, walk you through the process of buying homes. So I always, encourage for you guys to find a professional that you're comfortable to work with, and work with them instead of going directly to the listing agents. Okay, you got to have somebody that advocate for you. That's the lender, that's the loan officer, and that's the buyer's agent. So what should I do now? So we're going to go through what should you do to get started. Discuss with a local lender what's best for your financial future. What that means, if you have somebody that you work with, we'll talk to them about it. If you don't have anybody, schedule a time with me. I'd love to help you out. We'll walk you through the process and show you what's available to you. Now is a great time to buy and sell a home. Yes, now is a great time to buy and sell a home. I'm going to explain to you the reason why. Determine your home buying timeline. So maybe you're a year out of buying a home because you're in a lease. You want to get started now is because you need to start planning. Maybe you have issue with credit. Maybe you have issue with down payment or income. You want to start putting a plan together so that in a year from now, you be ready. Because I see a lot of people, they want to buy a home, but they keep putting it off. So 5 years goes by and they still renting, okay? Schedule a time with me and my team, and we'll design a customized plan for each individual. And I want to stress out why it's a good time for you to buy a home is because if you want to buy a home about a year ago, about a year before probably the early 2022, late 2021, if you were to buy a $300,000 home, you're going to have multiple offers. So that $300,000 home would have been $320,000, $350,000, or $370,000. That means you're not paying at whatever the listed price, you're paying over. And the challenge and the problem with that is first-time home buyer, they cannot afford that. They don't have an extra $50,000 to $70,000 to pay over the asking price. Okay, so at that time, it kind of drive all the first-time home buyer out of the market. Okay, now in today's market, let's just say the house is listed at $300,000. Okay, you have a limited amount of buyers. You have so many sellers. So now it's great for a first-time home buyer because they're able to negotiate the sales price. Okay. At the same time, a lot of people ask me, Alex, the interest rate is so high, 7%. I said, well, think about this. If 7%, but if you're paying $2,000 a month and it fits into your budget, then you should go ahead and buy the house because it doesn't matter what the rate is, but if it fits your budget, the monthly payment with the tax insurance, then go ahead and buy it because once right now it's 7%, the interest rate is going to dip. It's going to fall when the inflation start going down. Right now, the inflation is so high, they have to raise the interest rate to stop the inflation from going any higher. So what happened is, in the next probably a year to a year and a half, we're predicting probably the end of 2023, the early of 2024, the rates start going down. So if you were paying $2,000 at 7%, 2024 rates start dropping down to 5%, you can refinance. Once you refinance, your payment is going to drop. Okay, so the rates right now, maybe you're getting at 6.5%, 7%. You are not marrying to the rate. Okay, but when you buy a home, you are married to the home until you sell it. So when you sell it, then you can move it. But when you buy a home, you're married to it until you sell it. But the rate, you can always refinance at any time if it's dropped at least 1% from what your interest rates are currently at. Okay, again, if those of you are wanting to know what your current situation, schedule a time with me and my team. We're going to design a plan for you guys and walk you through the process. So some of the beliefs and mistakes to avoid while buying your first home in today's market. And I want to address this because there's a lot of myth out there about this. Number one, should you have 20% down? And that is false. You can buy a home with 0%, with zero down. What that means, if you're a veteran, VA will finance 100%. So if you're looking at a $300,000 home, if you want to buy it, say, hey, I want to buy it, they will finance 100%. So those of you who are a veteran, comment down below, chat, say I'm a veteran. We love to help veterans. Okay, so you can buy a home with 0% down. Well, Alex, I'm not a veteran. What should I do? If you qualify for down payment assistance program, so you have conventional requires you to put down 3% or FHA 3.5%. Well, if you qualify for down payment assistance, they will give you the down payment. So literally you can buy a home with zero down payment. That means you can get a home with no money out of, you don't have to put any money down. Okay, so there's so many programs that's available to you that, you know, if you do qualify, we're going to walk you through it and help you see which one you qualify for, especially for if you're a nurse, a teacher, a first responder. There's programs for you out there too. So if you are one of those, comment down below, chat, say you're a nurse, you're a teacher, Alex, you know, what kind of benefits do I get? Comment down below. Let me, we love to help you guys. You must have a high credit score, and this is not true. On a VA loan, if you're a VA, they will, CrossCountry and other lenders will go all the way down to a 500 credit score, okay? On an FHA, it'll go down to 580 credit score. We can all, on FHA, you can go all the way down to 500, but it requires you to put down 10%, okay? So yes, don't think that you need a 700 to buy a home. We just have to look at every situation, you know, each individual, your situation when we go through the process. You should purchase a home at the top end of your approval. Now, this is false. This is a myth. Let's just say that you are approved at 300,000. You don't have to buy at 300. If your budget says that you are comfortable with $2,000 a month, then you can buy a home at 250,000, because whatever your budget is, that will determine what your sales price is. Maybe you approve at 300, that gives you more option. That gives you what's available out there. But then you and your loan officer work together to determine your budget, so that when you let your realtor knows what you're comfortable with, and then they will provide you list a home based on your budget that you are comfortable with, okay? Try to buy a home on your own. And I think, you know, a lot of people try to, you know, do this by themselves. I think it's a mistake. And the reason why is, if you're a first-time home buyer, this is one of your, probably one of your biggest investment you're ever going to make, okay, until the next home, okay? So doing it by yourself, I think it's a mistake, because you don't know what you don't know, because you've never done it before. Find a professional, find somebody that help you navigate you through the process, and they can show you what you don't know. Like if you're dealing with a veteran loan officer, they'll know some of the products that you qualify for. They know that some of the program that you might be qualified for, where if you do it yourself or trying to do it by yourself, you don't know where you can get that resource. Okay, trying to find somebody that's been doing it for a while, that's been in the industry for a long time, where they've gone ups and down, they see it all. Those are the people that been around for a long time with, you know, inflation back in 2008, the recession. They've gone it through it all, so that they can help you navigate through, you know, the process. Use an inexperienced realtor or lender. I think this is the biggest mistake. Is I get this all the time, and the reason why is one of your your sister-in-law, brother-in-law has a full-time job, and they went and got a real estate license or a loan license. They do probably 1 to 3 transactions a year so that they can help their friends and family. The biggest mistake with that is they're inexperienced. They've never done all the transactions that they don't have the experience of doing 2,000 transactions. And I see it happens where somebody enter into a transaction and not realizing that they could have done better, right? Because that individual that's helping them they didn't have that experience. And, you know, by the time they find out, or by the time they talk to me or ask me about it, I explain to them, well, you could have taken, you know, advantage of this program, advantage of this program. I see that happens all the time. So my advice is, like, you know, you're purchasing one of your biggest investment. You know, maybe you're going to do it 1 time, 2 times, or 3 times in your lifetime. Find somebody that will help you through the process, and somebody that does, you know, 2,000 transactions, just like myself. I've been doing this for 2 decades. I've helped more than 2,000 families. I've seen it all. So when we're talking about experience, we're not talking about years. We're talking about transaction. That means someone that's been doing it when you have a recession, a depression. He's seen it all. Okay, so that's my my advice to you guys, to find somebody that's going to help you and that you can relate to. All right. So if you decide to meet with us one-on-one, we can get into more of a detail and design a plan for you guys. My team just put a link down there for you to schedule a time with me. One second here. Things to consider as you search. Okay. Are you buying this home as a primary resident or as an investment? Will you live in the home for a long time? Can you afford the payment comfortably? Current interest rates are only part of the equation. So again, we're going back to the interest rates. If the budget fits and you can afford it and it's at 7%, then go ahead and move forward with it. Go ahead and buy the home and wait until the interest rate comes down and then refinance. So right now, I feel that first-time home buyer is the best time to get started. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I just feel like you know, when the market start changing again, they're going to price out the first-time home buyer. So I feel like when there's a short time of opportunity for you guys to take advantage of. What does a home cost in our market? Well, when you're buying a home, there's only 3 things. You got to have income, credit score, and down payment. With the credit score and down payment, as you can see, we can help you with both of that. You just have to come, you know, you got to have some kind of income to let the bank know that you can pay them back. For self-employed people, 1099, you just need 1 year of tax return. Even if you don't have income, you can still buy a home, but they require you to put down 30%. We can still help you. Okay. Well, it's time to get into the game for you guys. It means, like, let's get into the game, get schedule, get it going. That was our first-time home buyer class. It's I hope you feel you're a little bit more prepared. We're here as educator, not as salesperson. Click on the the link below to schedule your 30 minutes with my team and I, and we're looking forward to speaking with you. Also, what I want to stress is that think about why you want to do it. Think about why you want to buy a home.